Hey, Sideburns EA! Finally, I'm getting back to another video in the Where Am I series. I'm trying to figure out, are you a genius who came up with a totally new YouTube genre, or is it all just a premeditated deceit? I'll explain what I'm talking about, and you can let me know in the comments below. Is it genius or premeditated deceit, or maybe something else? I'm really curious, actually. There may be 2 or 3 years of your videos where you do an intro on location, but then the majority of the video is recorded in an Asian looking location, somewhere usually in the United States. The video then ends with a brief clip from the location again. It's like you made a bunch of intros and ending clips while in a foreign country, thinking that you will just fill in the narration later from an Asian looking place in the United States. My last video in the Where Am I series was a good example of this genre. While the beginning and the ending of the video were shot in Hong Kong, the majority of the video was shot in a strip mall in San Diego with Asian stores. Which brings me to today's video, number 3 in the Where Am I series. This one is also not the best example of potential deceit, but it is one of my favorites. I'll explain later why this is one of my favorites. Let's get into it. Your video title is China versus Vietnam, and you posted it on April 27th of 2019. You start the video here in Vietnam with a short intro. Of course, I won't be able to pronounce the exact location, but I'll put it up on the screen to jog your memory in case you forgot where you were. You then do 7 minutes or 6.5 minutes of narration from this Asian looking place. Turns out the Asian looking place is the Asian Garden, 9200 Balsa Avenue, Westminster, California. During the narration, you slip in a bunch of clips you used in many previous videos, both of China and Vietnam. Then you spend about the same amount of time, or nearly half of the 12.5 minute video, plugging your ADV China channel. Basically, just your voice over 6 minutes of entirely used video clips from ADV China channel. If anyone is still watching at that point, you come back and you end with a short clip from Vietnam. So that basically describes the genre or premeditated deceit. Which one is it? Like, did you make videos in those locations and later replace the main content? Did you have foresight to make just intro and exit clips, planning to fill in the main content later? I mean, how did it happen? And why are there so many videos like this? It's just weird. Although I want to remain open-minded, there are so many videos like this that it seems, at the minimum, premeditated and potentially premeditated deceit, I guess. I am sincerely curious and hope you can leave a comment below to explain how did this frickin' happen. Hello. Hello. Meanwhile, on the topic of this specific video, I'd like to add a few comments if you don't mind. Most of the rest of the clips centered around a theme that comes up in a lot of your videos. In this and other videos where you mention Vietnam, you talk about China being bad because of installing more regulations. Vietnam being better because it's more like the wild, wild west. We both know China did not put in any new regulations or laws. They just started enforcing existing laws. Of course, the one that affected you the most was visa regulations. Where they used to look the other way and allow people such as yourself to work and thrive illegally, they decided to enforce the rule of law. You call that a bad thing. To say China is worse because they won't let you work illegally is very selfish in my opinion. You went on about Vietnam being more like China 10 or 15 years ago, where there's this growth and energy that you can feel in the air, you can smell it almost.
You see, right now, like I said, Vietnam is kind of like China 10 or 15 years ago, where there's this growth and there's this energy and there's this, you can feel it in the air when you're there and you can see it, that people are happy, people are starting to make money, there's promise for the future.
Looking back, that analysis is small-minded. Let's just look at the place where you were standing over a few years' time. Here's a picture of that location before you arrived. It seems vibrant and normal. Each of the shops appeared to be occupied, except for the one under construction. You can see one under construction there. This next photo is also from before you arrived. Looks like it was the BIDV, I think it's a bank, who was next door that was remodeling the store. They've added a tree in front of their shop, and the Circle K has moved in next door. You can see there are a lot of scooters parked on the street, and it looks very vibrant, right? Now you arrive, that tree is doing well, and business appears to be bustling. Now let's take a look at a more recent Google Earth image. The business you stood in front of appears to be shuttered and riddled with graffiti. Not a scooter to be found anywhere. The bank has moved out. The traffic signal, which used to be there for pedestrians, has now been removed. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Here's the most recent photo from that location from Google Earth. There are many likely illegal cables strung up. You can see them. Seems like it is almost abandoned. I don't want to end the video on utter ignorance of your observations. So I'm going to end this video by showing you why, while this is not the best example of the genre that you apparently created of video, it is perhaps my favorite. It has to do with this guy. When I see people filming or taking a picture, I often walk around. His actions are much more in line with what you might see in China or other Asian countries. I mean, look at this. In my opinion, you should have given this guy like 20 bucks or something for adding to the deception. You couldn't have asked for a better actor. He makes the video.